grounding into that tailbone. Feeling those hips opening. And the spine lengthening as the shoulders move over the hips. Crown of the head rising up towards the ceiling. And once your body feels centered, once it feels balanced, begin to balance the breath. The inhale becoming equal with the exhale. Take your time with each. Slowly drawing the breath in, allowing it to fill the body completely. Exhaling slowly, experiencing the breath leaving you, the lungs slowly emptying. And trying to make inhale and exhale take the same amount of time. No rush for either. Maybe you want to take time to count how long an inhale takes, and then count that same amount to get your breath out. And then once you feel balanced, on an inhale, you're going to bring your arms all the way up to the sky. Let's take a moment here and stretch to the ceiling, reaching one arm at a time as if you're climbing through a ladder. Extending through the sides of the body. And then bringing both arms as high as you can. On exhale, let's twist. Bring opposite hand to knee, back arm supporting you, and take a moment. Breathing steadily, maintaining that balance as you guide yourself into your twist. And then returning to center, inhale those arms all the way back up. And exhale over to the other side. And again, we're taking our time here, slowly guiding ourselves deeper and deeper into our twist, maintaining that balanced body, balanced breath. And begin to take note of your body. The more you breathe, the more you move, experience how it's feeling, becoming more connected with each muscle. And then on an inhale, you're going to come back to center, reaching all the way up to the sky. And on the exhale, folding forward, walk your hands away, relax to gravity, and just take a few deep breaths. Staying low, you're going to walk across the body all the way to the right. Folding down over that thigh. Take a few deep breaths here as you reach across with that left arm. And then walking yourself back across center, all the way over to the left. Folding down, deep breathing. And then returning to center, walking yourself up to a tall seat. You can cross your legs the opposite way. Again, sitting tall, taking time to find your balance. Steady and balance the breath. Connecting with those sit bones as they press into the floor, connecting with that core as it draws in, making you stronger, more steady, more still. On inhale, you're going to bring your arms all the way back up to the sky. From here, let's lace those fingers together, turn our palms up and press, lifting up to the ceiling as high as you can. Bring the arms out in front of you, pull that belly in, really activate your core as you open those shoulder blades, allowing them to separate and stretch apart. And then inhaling all the way back up. Let's separate the hands, take them down to the ground behind you, fingers facing forward as you press those palms into the mat. Open the belly, the chest, the throat. Coming back to center now, bring those arms all the way up to the sky. From here, grab onto one wrist, and you're going to gently lift up and over. Just take a moment here, guiding that arm away from you. And then returning to center, grab onto the other wrist, and again, inhale up and over. And then coming back to center, big inhale, bring the arms up to the sky. And one more time, we're going to exhale, folding forward, walking those hands away. Relax into the pose and let gravity do the work. Good. From here, you're going to walk yourself back up to your tall seat. And let's just take the soles of the feet together, coming to Baddha Konasana for a moment. I want you to take a moment here and wiggle out if you need to. Pull those feet close to you. I want you to get nice open hips before we begin. So again, if you need to just kind of sway or wiggle around in your seat, maybe lean forward and back a few times, just really trying to get those hips to drop open. Shouldn't necessarily be comfortable, but you shouldn't be in pain either. But you should start to feel that pull right in here as everything opens. And once you get to that point where you're starting to feel that pull, hold, take a deep breath in. And then on the exhale, you're going to hinge forward, leaning into the pose. You might not go very far, and that's okay. And once you're there, let the head drop. And just breathe, letting those hips widen, feeling that pulling. Again, you don't want to be in pain, but you do want to feel this stretch. And then inhaling back up to center. Let's bring our knees together, give them a hug. And then we're going to come onto our hands and knees in tabletop. So take a moment to get there. As you do come into your tabletop, I want you to make sure that your wrists are coming beneath your shoulders, knees beneath your hips. You're going to begin to strengthen through the core, connecting with those muscles. Taking your time to lengthen out your spine. And then once you feel prepared, taking a deep breath in. And then on the exhale, you'll begin by coming into cat pose, drawing that navel in and up, lifting the spine high, tucking under tailbone and chin. As you inhale, you're going to come to cow. Let the belly fill and open, the back sways, and the tailbone and chest lift. Again, the exhale will take you into cat pose, taking your time to lift high, activating your core. And the inhale will bring you into cow as you open and release and stretch. Moving slowly through cat-cow at your own pace. I want you to maintain that balanced breathing. Inhale and exhale, moving at the same pace. Slow and steady. Motions are thoughtful. And on your next exhale, you're going to come all the way back to child's pose. Bringing those hips down to those heels, belly to the thighs, head towards the ground. Take your time here, breathing into the belly and into the lower back, and see if you can get your hips a little deeper, the head to drop a little further. And then when you're ready, inhaling your way back up to flat back table. Tuck under your toes, and you're going to lift to downward facing dog and pedal out your feet one heel at a time to the ground, taking your time. Move slow. Actively concentrate on each movement. You want to feel which muscles are working, which ones are stretching. You want to take time to enjoy each motion, enjoy each stretch. And you want to be conscious of how your body moves. And stay conscious of it throughout the whole practice as we move through our balance. Good. When you feel stretched out, you're going to walk your feet up to meet your hands in your forward bend. Take your time getting there, knees stay bent to protect your lower back. And then folding in as much as you can towards those legs. Again, they stay bent. Let your head become heavy. And then you can shake your head out, yes and no, a few times. Release your neck. Good. And then when you're ready with bent knees, you're going to roll up one vertebrae at a time like a rag doll. And come all the way up to mountain pose. So we're going to spend a little extra time today getting into mountain pose because it's such an important starting point for balance. Feet should be about hip width apart, right beneath your balance point. Feet are flat on the ground, toes spread wide. Ground through the entire foot. So you want to press into all of your toes, into the pads of the feet, into the heels. You should feel even pressure on the insides and outsides of the feet as the ankles begin to stabilize and strengthen. We're not just sinking into the feet, we're strengthening and stabilizing. Those ankles become nice and strong. They don't roll in or out. The calves begin to draw up as they do the thighs and the knees. And begin to slowly draw that navel in. The hips tuck under ever so slightly. We're not forcing our tailbone under. We're just getting everything into alignment. We're strong. Nothing is slouching. We begin to lift up through the core. The chest and the ribs open. The shoulders come back and down as the fingertips reach for the floor. The head becomes steady, the chin parallel with the ground. And then we hold. You can close your eyes. Take time to explore your body, the way that it's feeling. Maybe you feel like you're leaning to one side or the other, forward or back, and take time to adjust that. You want to be centered and balanced. Form a connection with each of your muscles from the toes and the fingertips all the way up. See how each one needs to adjust slightly to balance you, to stop you from swaying. Good. Opening your eyes, we're going to warm up our body. So let's inhale, bring the arms up to the sky. On the exhale, you're going to swan dive down into your forward bend. As you inhale, look halfway up, hands to shins or thighs. Exhale, fold forward. Again, inhale, look halfway up, hands to shins or thighs. Exhale, fold forward. And one more time, inhale, halfway up. And exhale, fold forward. From here, let's inhale our right leg all the way back to lunge. And then on an exhale, step back to downward facing dog. As you inhale, you're going to move forward to plank. Exhale, lower to the ground, however you need to get there. Untuck your toes and inhale, roll the shoulders back and down, coming to cobra at any height that works for you. Exhale, lower back down to the ground and tuck back for child's pose. As you inhale, move forward to your flat back table. Tuck under your toes and let's lift to downward dog. You're then going to inhale your right leg forward to lunge and exhale your left leg to meet it in forward bend. From here, I want you to inhale, roll up one vertebrae at a time like a rag doll, knees bent. And return to mountain pose. As you inhale, bring those arms back up to the sky. Exhale, swan dive down into your forward bend. Inhale, look halfway up, hands to shins or thighs. Exhale, fold forward. Again, inhale, halfway up. Exhale, fold forward. And one more time, inhale, halfway up. And exhale, fold forward. This time we're going to inhale our left leg all the way back to lunge. And then exhale back to downward dog. As you inhale, move forward to plank. Exhale, lower to the ground, however you need to get there. Untuck the toes and inhale, roll the shoulders back and down, coming to your cobra. Exhale, you back to the ground and back to child's pose. As you inhale, come back to flat back table. Tuck under the toes and exhale to downward dog. On an inhale, you'll take your left leg forward to lunge. Exhale the right leg into forward bend. And then with bent knees, inhale, roll up one vertebrae at a time, getting that nice stretch through the spine. And returning to your mountain pose. Good. So finding that strong mountain pose now. Let's take a moment, finding that connection with the ground beneath us once more. Begin by moving to whichever foot feels best for you. So whatever one you naturally go to first to balance on, doesn't matter which. Find your balance on that foot and find a drishti, a point of focus, something straight ahead of you. And then when you're ready, once you've shifted your weight, begin to lift the other foot up and let's come to stork. Foot is flexed, thigh is strong, base leg is strong and still lifting in that mountain pose. Hips are as even as you can get them. Hands can be wherever you're comfortable. For now, I'm going to keep mine on my hips. They can be up at the sky, in cactus pose, on a wall, on a chair, whatever works for you. From our stork pose, we're going to take that foot, bring it either as low as the ground, anywhere on the calf or anywhere on the thigh, just not on your knee, and come to our tree pose. Tree can have any height of that leg, just not on your knee. Hands anywhere that feels comfortable for you for balance. Good. From our tree, we're going to move back to stork. Take your time. If your foot needs to come down, do so. Moving the body, taking those steady breaths, taking note of how you're feeling. And then whenever you're ready, you're going to take that leg that's lifted and step it all the way back to a lunge. From here, let's exhale, fold forward and step back to downward dog. As you inhale, move forward to plank. Exhale, lower the body down to the mat. Untuck the toes and inhale, roll the shoulders back and down to cobra. Exhale, lower to the ground and back to child's pose. As you inhale, come to your flat back table. Tuck under your toes and lift to downward dog. Whichever leg you were standing on gets inhaled up to meet your hands in your lunge. Then squeezing those inner thighs, lift your torso. You can hold onto your thigh if you need to, and come back up to that high lunge. Hands can be wherever's comfortable. From your high lunge, begin to lean forward, put the weight onto that front foot. Take your back foot, slide it all the way up, and come back to your stork. And let's just hold stork for a few more deep breaths. Again, centering the body, working on that long torso, strong thighs, that foot is flexed. You have that dristi straight ahead of you. From here, you're going to take that lifted foot, bring it back again for that lunge. From your lunge, turn your foot so it's parallel with the back of your mat. And let's come to warrior two and hold. A nice stance of power, of strength and stability. When you're ready, take those hands back down. Let's return to that lunge. Pick up that heel, turn, take your time, use those inner thigh muscles. Then putting all your weight back onto that front foot. Slide that back foot towards you. Come back to your stork when you're ready. Take your time to get there, no rush. Consciously moving each muscle. And then bring that foot down to the ground. Shake out that other leg. Good. We're going to go through a quick flow. So as you inhale, bring your arms up to the sky. Exhale, swan dive forward. Inhale, look halfway up, hands to shins or thighs. Exhale, fold forward. You're going to then walk your feet all the way back to downward dog. Inhale, forward to that plank. Exhale, lower to the mat. Untuck the toes as you come to cobra. Exhale, back down and back to child's pose. As you inhale, return to that flat back table. Tuck under the toes and exhale to downward dog. You're then going to walk your feet up to meet your hands in your forward bend. Inhale, look halfway up, hands to shins or thighs. Exhale, fold forward. And then inhale, rolling up one vertebrae at a time like a rag doll. And returning to your mountain pose. So again, let's find that mountain pose. Let's take our time. Planting into the feet. Lifting up through the legs, engaging that core. Lengthening through that torso. Shoulders come back and down. We're in a balanced position. Hips and shoulders and heels and head all in alignment. Then begin to shift your weight over to your opposite foot. Take a moment, wiggle out if you need to. Find that good connection with the bottom of your foot on the ground. Shift all your weight to it, maintaining that mountain pose. Once you feel steady and you found your dristi, that point of focus, take that opposite foot and lift it up into stork. Toes flexed, thigh strong, base leg still in mountain pose, torso still lifted, we're not caving in. Hands can come wherever you want for balance. Then we're going to take that foot, bring it to tree, either as low as the ground, anywhere below your knee, anywhere above your knee, just not on your knee. Now this side tends to be a little bit shakier than the first. Whatever side you choose first, you have your best balance on. Second side is usually a little worse. Don't worry too much about it. Make your adjustments as you need. And again, you're better off coming back to the ground and resting, and then coming back to your pose and shaking all over the place or holding onto a wall. You can do that too. When you're ready, you're going to come back to that stork pose. Take your time to get there. Again, if the foot needs to come down, do so. Then from your stork, you're going to gently take that lifted foot and step it back to a lunge. Take your time, strong inner thighs. Oops. Keep yourself lifted. And then on exhale, folding forward and stepping back to downward dog when you're ready. On an inhale, you'll come forward for plank. Exhale, lower to the ground. Untuck those toes and inhale up to your cobra. And exhale, lower down. Tuck back for child's pose whenever you're ready. And then inhale your way back to flat back table. Tuck under your toes and exhale back to downward dog. Whichever foot you were standing on comes forward to your lunge. And then keeping yourself strong in those inner thighs and core, lift up your torso, coming back to that high lunge. Again, you can hold on to your thigh if you need to. When you're ready, leaning forward a little bit, putting the weight onto that front foot. Slide your back foot up to meet your front foot. And then gently lifting back up to stork. When you're ready, take your stork back to that lunge. Take your time to get there. You're then going to take that back foot, turn it so it's parallel with the back of your mat. And come to warrior two. Strong, powerful, steady, lifting through that chest, staying centered and breathing. Good. You can take those hands back wherever you need for balance. Return to your lunge, turning that back foot. Then putting the weight on that front foot, slide your back foot up to meet your front and lift to stork whenever you feel ready. And continue to hold your stork, deep breathing. Then taking that foot down. You can shake out that other leg for a moment. Take a moment to just work out that ankle. And then finding that mountain pose again, we're going to flow. So as you inhale, bring the arms back up to the sky. Exhale, fold forward. From here, we're going to walk those feet back to downward dog. Take your time. And then inhale forward into plank. Exhale, lower to the ground. Untuck the toes and inhale up to your cobra. Exhale, lower back to the floor and back to your child's pose. Inhale back to flat back table. Tuck under the toes and exhale to downward dog. You're going to tiptoe your way back up to your forward bend. Take your time. And then with bent knees, you're going to inhale, roll up one vertebrae at a time like a rag doll. And return to your mountain pose. From here, let's inhale, bring those arms all the way back up. Exhale, swan dive down into your forward bend. Inhale, look halfway up, hands to shins or thighs. Exhale, fold forward. This time you're going to inhale, roll up one vertebrae at a time like a rag doll. And once more, find that mountain pose. Good. In mountain pose, I want you to just take a very strong stance here. Begin to connect with the inner thighs. Take a moment to feel them squeezing together, feel those ankles stabilizing, knees stabilizing. Once you feel strong, arms wherever you need for balance again. On inhale, you're going to lift up onto your toes and we're going to hold. Doesn't have to be too high, but get off your heels, get the weight out of them. And just hold, deep breathing. Good, then you're going to drop back into your heels. Lift your toes up. Again, you don't have to rock too far back, but get out of your toes and hold. Deep breathing. You should be using different parts of your core for each motion. Good, from here, bringing those toes back down. Now what I want you to do is take those feet and separate them. Wider than your hips. Wider than your shoulders too, if you can. So you need to straddle the mat or turn sideways, either way is fine. And turn your toes out. So take a moment here, find that balance. Strong thighs lifting up all the way around. So the insides are lifting up, the outsides are lifting up, the backs, the fronts. Then what you're going to do is bend your knees only as deep as is comfortable. So take a moment here, wiggle out, get those feet nice and flat on the ground. Good. Hands come right to the hips. Shoulders roll back and down. Tailbone tucks under as our core draws in. We're very strong here. Now what you're going to do is take one heel, lift it up off the ground. Then place it back down. Then take the other heel, lift it up off the ground, and place it down. Do it again. Alternating heels, lift, lower, lift, lower, lift, lower, lift, lower, lift, lower. One more time. Lift, lower, and lift, and lower. Find that balance. If you need to make any adjustments, make them. And then when you're ready, you're going to lift both heels off the ground. They don't have to come too high, just enough to be on your toes, not on your heels. I'm going to hold. Deep breathing. Come down whenever you need, and then come back up again. It's a lot of glute and thigh strength, calf strength, core strength to keep from falling over. Good, and then we lower, strengthen by lifting our legs. Turn those toes forward. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, bend the knees, slide down those legs, and enjoy a good forward bend. And while you're here, if you want to rock your shoulders, rock the hips, whatever feels good to you, just make it your stretch. Get whatever you need out of this. Good, and then coming to center, bend your knees. Look up, take your hands to your thighs and lift all the way back up. You're going to bring your feet to about shoulder width apart now. Once you're there, take a deep breath in, bring the arms up to the sky, and then exhale, coming into Malasana. Now, if Malasana is too much for you, sit on the ground and do the same pose. In Malasana, make sure that those hips are opening. You're sinking down into your heels, into the whole foot. Chest is gently lifted. And then from here, lowering down to the ground. Let's let those hips fall open once more into Baddha Konasana. I want you to take a moment to enjoy your Baddha Konasana. Sitting up tall, feeling those hips becoming wider, releasing any tension through the hips, through the thighs, through the lower back. Take a deep breath, and on exhale, you're going to hinge forward a little further than last time. And then relax into the pose and breathe deep breaths. And then coming back up to center, hug those knees into your chest. Give them a really tight hug this time. Curl up into a little ball, chin tucks down, and just rock side to side on those sit bones. And when you're ready, you're going to lower down to the ground one vertebrae at a time. Once you're there, I want you to bring your knees in towards your chest. Give them a little hug. Don't move anywhere. Just shift if you need to. Take your time. And then you're going to bring those knees into a tabletop position. Open your arms out to the sides. And let the knees fall over to the right and look over to your left. Good. Then from here, come back to center and let the knees fall over to the left and look to your right. Good. From here, come back to the middle. Let's hug the knees into the chest. Rock side to side a few times, massaging out the back. And then returning to center, bring the knees down, or the feet down to the mat. And begin some windshield wipers, letting the knees fall side to side. While you do your windshield wipers, I want you to take time to really feel how your body's feeling. Take note of how the lower back feels, the hips, the thighs, everything. Even the abdomen. And then from there, you'll take a big full body stretch. Take your time to really extend through your body. Wiggle out fingers and toes, rotate wrists and ankles, do whatever you need. And then you can begin to get ready for your Shavasana. Taking time to relax into the ground, to find a position that is comfortable for you. Closing your eyes. Breathing into your body. I want you to take this time to reflect on your practice. How did you feel as you moved through the poses? As you held those strengthening balances? Did you feel strong and steady? Did certain muscles feel a little weaker than others? Did you find difficulty keeping balance? There's no right, there's no wrong, there just is. If certain muscles felt weak, take note of it to strengthen them and to work on them later. If you felt unsteady, take note of it and take time in your day to find balance and to practice finding balance. Take your time now connected with yourself, connected with your breath, to appreciate the practice that your body allowed you to do, to appreciate the positive energy you've created, and to take time in that positive energy, in that positive space, to be filled with joy, to be filled with love, taking time devoted to you. Beginning now to bring your awareness back into your space, into your breath and into your body. Take some time to wiggle and move, to stretch as you need. And then when you're ready, you can roll to one side in the fetal position and work yourself back up to a tall seat, keeping your eyes closed. Taking our hands to our heart now. I'd like to thank you so much for joining me this morning. I hope you feel calm, I hope you feel steady. I hope you feel connected. And so love and gratitude. The light within me bows to the light within you. Namaste.